with the idea, let's make some cool videos.
And I'm totally unprofessional because I forgot to disable notifications. This is our 5th episode of Pajama Talks, and today our guest is Michal. Hi, Michal.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. It's Friday, weekend, almost.
But we don't know where this episode will be online, but it's Friday for us, so we can drink and we have a beer under the table. So, you are from company Pipedrive, and what is the Pipedrive?
Pipedrive is a company based in Tallinn, Estonia, and we are building a tool for people around sales, salespeople, so they can sell more and more efficiently.
And so it's kind of like CRM, content management.
Yes, with API access, a lot of plugins. It sounds like a small thing. You got your deal in some stage and you move it once you had a meeting with a client and you send something like offer and the offer was accepted. So you are basically moving the deal from stage to stage. But around that, there's so many toolings, like you want to integrate emails, you want to get the leads, which is like potential deals. So a lot of things around. It's quite big. We are more than 600 people together. Not only developers, the customer support is, for example, quite big. And we have offices in Tallinn, Tartu, another city in Estonia, Prague, and Lisbon.
And what do you do at Pipedrive?
I'm a software engineer. Boring stuff, you know.
Oh, well.
Okay, so I'm software engineer. I'm mostly focused on GraphQL, but like I would call myself a full stack. I do stuff on front end and back end as well. But I find myself best currently in the GraphQL because it solves so many issues I was fighting with on the front end and on the back end as well. So I really like the technology. React, same story. But currently mostly GraphQL.
Have you seen this picture with a horse, like who is the full stack developer? So do you believe in actual full stack developer? I mean, when you are senior in everything, or it's kind of like you're more into one thing and you know something else?
Yeah, I believe more in the specialization. But what I understand as a full stack is something you basically don't close the door when there is something coming from that area. If there is something on the front end, you just don't say, I'm not interested at all. You basically keep knowledge about all these worlds, but people tend to be more focused on something. I doubt you can be so skilled on the front end, CSS, everything, and do the same quality of work with databases, APIs. But you still can have some knowledge, to at least what I basically do. I'm like reading a lot of stuff on Twitter, so I know what's happening, or I hope I know what's happening around these technologies, but I'm not actively using them. But once there is something I can at least suggest, maybe we could try this because it works well, or I read about it. let's explore more.
I saw some memes about that, so we can use it.
Exactly.
If people creating memes about technology, it means something. And so I don't know, because back in the days I remember there were no front end or back end developers. There were kind of like web engineers, or I don't know, webmasters.
Yes,
so like you create a web page, you upload it via FTP.
There were no DevOps. You did everything over FTP.
Something like this. And it looks like these days, this movement we come from the one route, but these days you can do a lot of things. There are like Amazon services engineers or Webpack configurator.
Kubernetes experts.
And
it's total own universe of things. Exactly.
What do you think? Is software engineering and creation overcomplicated over the years? So we have so many things right now, and you cannot be a professional in everything.
I would say you can go really deep if you want to, but some principles should be the same. I would say that the software engineering is more about craftsmanship. We should be builders. We should build something, not just like feeling that we are some superstars living on some architectural levels, just thinking about how others should be building something. I believe that software engineers should be the builders, and sometimes it's kind of clash with what some software engineers see as a career. That you should be software engineer for a couple of years and then you should move to engineering manager or software architect. I'm afraid that this is the way to basically be lost or to lose the contact with the real world or the craft. And you sometimes tend to live in something like, oh, back in the days we did it that way, and those current software engineers stop like taking you seriously because you became like old in your mind, just sentimental or something. Sentimental software engineer or software architect. That scares me.
It's like your front end. You were a front end engineer back in the days. You're like, JQuery. I'm so missing you.
Yes.
Do you miss JQuery?
Not really, but I really remember those days when it helped so much. But then I also remember those days when it messed so much, because it tends to be so like quickly just listen on some event and react on that or stuff, and then we were basically lost. We had application and we were unable to basically debug or just understand why is some error happening. So I'm not missing it, but it really served well. But then better things appeared.
You said one thing that can be really controversial for many people, because these days many young people, when you're saying young people, you're getting older
immediately. Yes.
These young people, they're joining software engineering with like rock star in mind, because many people, they are building some open source projects or some pet projects, and they think that, hey, I will build another state management system, or I don't know, something, and I will get thousands of views, thousands of stars on GitHub, and this is my dream. But you're saying that not everyone, and like minority of the software engineers are getting popular.
Yeah, but it's good to be motivated. I think it's bad to be over motivated without real connections. But it's life, I guess. It will catch you. You have to pay the rent. Probably you don't want to live with your parents.
For sure.
So it's good to try things. It's wonderful how many possibilities we have. It's simpler and simpler to start doing basically anything. But just thinking or dreaming about how simple it is, I'm a little bit skeptical. But it's good to try that, burn yourself a little bit, and that's how you get experience.
Back in the days, only people with passion started doing this, because like it was not well paid and not well known. Only people who had the desire to do some programming or computers and other stuff. But these days, so many young people, I'm already old.
We are getting too old here.
Many people, they join this software area because of the money. And what do you think? Can you be is it normal and is it okay for you that people doing this job without passion in heart, but with this is the normal job? No one is asking plumber or some technician or painter or whatever, like, how do you motivate it or something like this? They're doing this because of the I have to pay my rent and that's it.
So what was the question?
Sorry, a lot of words, but so the question is, what is, I don't know, for example, someone is joining your team, or you are on the interview. You're interviewing young person.
Yes.
Not young, but I don't know.
New.
junior person, and this person is saying like, "Hey, I'm here because of the money. It's a well-paid job, and I just want to get this money, and that's it." Is it okay for you?
No, that's really not okay, but I can understand that. I think money is really like a low motivating factor. You have to have some inner how to say that need to you get satisfied when you build something on the internet, for example, through software.
Yeah.
So I would say the best would be if when you ask some junior, why do you even want to be a software engineer, is I want to solve some problems.
Yeah.
That's the good motivation in my point of view. The money are just the side effect, I would say. But it's a good topic. What I see currently, like couple of last year, is these boot camps that are appearing, and they are basically promising to people who were never attached with the computer science or just software development, that it's kind of simple. We can turn you in 3 months, 6 months. If you pay enough of money to us, boot camp, we almost guarantee you that you will be junior software developer, and you will get these salaries because there are big salaries. And they are also maybe not talking about we will get also some commissions when you get the job. And I think this is a little bit problem for those people who are not into the computer software development. I think the promise is a little bit fake. If you just, I wouldn't say it's difficult to learn algorithms and stuff like that. Or JavaScript, totally.
Not hard at all.
Or Python. Let's do the language wars. But I still feel like it's really about motivating just to get better salary for those clients. And the biggest clash I see is these bootcamps are mostly like hiding all these extra fees and stuff like that. So I don't like it that much. I really like all the things, just like make software more popular or more accessible. But the motivation is a little bit strange.
So returning back to the IT and software engineering and other topics, is software engineering well paid in Czech Republic?
I would say.
So it's one of the top professions.
Definitely.
And what do you think? Why it's so? Why it's so? I don't know. So much money floating in this area.
It's the potential. If you are successful on the internet, you are basically able to get so much money. So a lot of companies are investing and want to grow because you are. It's easy to scale if you have a good product or good marketing, whatever. You don't have to build factories. You can rent the servers in the cloud. So the demand is huge for the workforce that can build these things. And it's kind of global competition. It's even simpler. So it's also like aligned with the salaries in Western countries. So I would say,
we're trying to hire some people, obviously, and our HRs, local HRs, they think that C# guys, people who know C#, they are really well paid in Czech Republic because this market is full of financial banks, institutes, and they use C# a lot. Is it true, or what do you think?
I'm thinking if I even know someone who is working working in C#, but could be. But would you say that, for example, there is a lot of JavaScript developers, so the salaries are not that high? I believe quality doesn't differ by the language. So there can be probably there are not so many C# developers, so they are rare. They would be overpaid if you want to overpay them. But maybe I would say it's really about but who's making that? It's all the companies who are basically, they can compete with the product or just money. And if you start on that money, it's just getting worse and worse. So I would say, but how would you like to regulate it or change it? You can just come with better product that would attract. And I would say it's a good sign if someone who is already being paid well, but not satisfied because it's kind of boring working on something he doesn't believe into.
Like Java.
I wouldn't say it's the language. It could be the product. But if those people are willing to even go lower just to be in, for example, in a team where they can learn something, work on a product that is useful for people, they need these products. For example, something about health or something. I like that when someone is not just coming for the money. That's much more better motivation.
Actually, another question I wanted to ask you, it's about local market and about like Czech market. So do you see any like trends in shift in technologies or maybe some stacks or frameworks? Because, for instance, I know that there are many companies, obviously in the web world, they're moving to the TypeScript, and the JavaScript is, like many companies, they demand TypeScript in CV or for the candidates. Do you see something like for a local market?
Hard to say because I cannot compare with anything, any other market. I'm sitting in Prague, but I would say yes, definitely the JavaScript is very, very popular. I personally started with PHP. I don't see like PHP movement that strong anymore. A lot of people I knew from the PHP community switched to JavaScript. That's true. I was like globally, or I heard from my friends that were nomading the globe, that a lot of software developers basically stopped being developers but just became cryptocurrency junkies. They just built some high frequency dealing server and basically caching, and they just spent all day. My friend was in Thailand on some nice co-working area, and he said these people are just watching the graphs, doing something on some clouds, and then just watching the graphs again and just calculating how much money they get. That's something, but I think it's a little bit stopped. The cryptocurrency was huge, I would say like 2 years ago. And then a lot of shit coins finally appeared, and a lot of people realized it's not that simple. So the crypto was big, but something specific to Prague, I don't know. A lot of companies are here, so the demand and the overpaying is happening. On the other hand, I still think that the Prague is a really good place to be, and if you are a software developer, it's a good area to relocate, for example.
But actually, it's a big question these days because everything online, well, most of the companies, and it's first like a part of the equation, and the second part is that there are a lot of like IT centers in the Europe, like Berlin, Amsterdam, maybe London. There are so many companies, big companies like Booking, Airbnb, hiring, Facebook, and so what about the Prague? So why people, for instance, in Berlin, as a software developer, maybe you can earn more and maybe more like in double the price. I don't know for sure, but why do you stay in Prague and not like, go over the sea in Google or somewhere?
Oh yeah, good topic. I would say why to be in Prague. It's simple: cheap beer, nice girls. That sells.
You know, when I just moved to the Prague, first surprise for me is that you can actually buy a beer, and the beer sometimes is cheaper than water.
Or some soft drink in a pub.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can buy, like I was in some shop or like a supermarket, and there was some sale, and the beer was cheaper than just a bottle of water.
Yeah, Czech Republic is the biggest consumer of beer
Yeah.
per head,
Wow.
and it's really by double. And the second is Germany,
Yeah.
and it's a huge number. And I think they try to install a law that the pubs should have some soft drink cheaper to beer, but I think it was dismissed.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Like, who cares about soft drinks?
But yeah, why to move to Prague, or what's special about Prague, or why I'm staying in Prague? It's also, or you don't work 24 hours a
Yeah.
day. You should have some real life.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about going to some foreign country, but then we like try to figure it out with my wife, and I could probably earn more money, for example, in London, but I would definitely also spend much more money there. And how would the life look like? It would be me doing probably a lot of work in work.
Yeah.
My wife would probably have complications to get some job she would like to do. And what about some friends, some social contacts? Of course, you can say you can build new ones, you can do Skype whenever you need, but it doesn't work that way. And I kind of feel it's very convenient for me. I moved to Prague from Brno, and it was I didn't felt like it changed a lot for my life, because I already had friends here, and I was speaking my language. I basically understand the situation. It's my country. I know what's going on. If you move to foreign country, you are foreigner. It can be hard, or maybe it can be okay, but still you are in a foreign country and you get to used to it. And I basically, or we realized with my wife, we would not like to get used to it or get through that process. Or I like to travel, or I liked to travel. Who knows what's the future of traveling? So I keep these nice things for the traveling, and work and live is in Prague. That's really good for me. Of course, it doesn't work for someone. I say it's good to relocate to Prague. That doesn't work this way. But I still think that the Prague, for example, is good for the geographic location. It's cheap, could be pretty cheap here, and the possibilities are really good. Like there are like big companies, IBM, Microsoft, your company, right? Pipedrive is here. And there are a lot of startups, or if you are into startups, small companies, very agile, you can find it. And the community, at least JavaScript community, is working pretty well, or used to work pretty well. Now all the meetups are on hold. So I think I had some experience from Berlin. It was also good, but already different.
For sure.
So every country has something, or every these technology hub has something.
Interesting. Let me check, because for some reason it's information. It's working. Let's talk a bit about the Prague as the city. So the couple of big cultural differences for me. First big difference, when we're talking with the colleagues, like, hey, maybe we can go somewhere and drink a beer. And usually in Russia and in some other countries, we usually drink beer at Friday, because it's Friday, it's like tomorrow is a weekend, and you can drink a lot and you can have a good hangover on the Saturday. But is it true or not that Czech people usually they drink a beer with the colleagues at Thursday, and then they have family time Friday with their family?
That's funny. That actually happened yesterday to my colleagues. I denied to go with them, and today I asked how was it, and it was like, yeah, we ended at 2 a.m. and the stand-up today is probably not gonna be that efficient, and something like that. So yeah, interesting. I didn't realize that, but could be. On the other hand, there are definitely also people going out on Friday, Saturday, basically every day. But if you go for a beer with colleagues, it's usually Thursday.
Maybe it's not like a rule, but maybe something that you prefer, and it's like a culture, something that unconsciously people do.
But yeah, it makes sense, because on a Friday you would probably prioritize non-colleague team.
Yeah. So, but you're still drinking, but with the not with the colleagues.
Different setup.
Yeah. Because you have to drink with your family and your colleagues, of course. So maybe at Wednesday you should drink with.
By the way, about the drinking, I used to stop drinking for 3 months. It was sort of challenge, and it was really difficult to be with others somewhere, and you always had to answer these questions. Why are you not drinking with
us? Are you okay?
Are you sick? Or come on, at least one beer, it's no problem. It was really, I started to hate it. I basically stopped going with others out because it was a really bad experience.
So, and about the pubs, they are closing so early, no?
Depends. Currently, there is gonna be again the COVID enforcement that they will have to close on midnight. But in a city center, you can find some non-stops.
Really nice. We will put some links.
Some local tips.
Local tips into this description. And I've noticed another funny tradition is that do Czech people eat something with the beer? I mean, some snacks or something, or they usually just drink a beer?
That would be something I would call a problem, because as I know, for example, in Russia, you are very used to drinking and eating together. You should always have something some snack. Czechs are very bad, and I think it's really bad for the health. Because when you put so much alcohol in your stomach, I understand it's good to eat something fatty and help your stomach to deal with the situation. And that's true. That's something we should.
So usually Czech people don't eat and drink at the same time.
Yes, unfortunately. And even worse, Czechs are doing shots without anything. And if you want at least to have some soda to drink, you are the weak one.
Drink this whole bottle of vodka. Why not? No, Slivovica, sorry, not vodka.
Well, everything is popular, but it happened with the absinthe movement, which is where it's like 70% of alcohol. People tend to drink it without anything, and absinthe is built to be mixed with water. You should not drink it pure. And then it was just macho movement. I can drink it without anything. But then why? Oh man, why?
Because this I'm super brave and I can drink everything in this pub. I can fight with everyone on the street. Or something like this.
Unfortunately.
Sometimes drunk people, they do dumb shit. Na zdrowie. And what do you think? What about work-life balance? Because a friend of mine, he's from Norway, and I think
no way.
In Norway, work-life balance is totally into the life balance, because one story is that friend one, he's from Russia, but he relocated to the Norway, and like they found in his company they found some production issue, and it was a Friday, something like 5-ish, and everyone's just going, and he was like, oh, guys, we have a production issue. And I'm like, it's not that critical. And like,
Can wait.
it can wait because it's like Friday and like we have family time and that stuff. He's like, wow, no, we should fix it. And in the opposite, like Silicon Valley, another friend of mine, he's relocated to Silicon Valley, and like it's crazy. People they're working 24 hours because the competition there is so strong that even though people they're saying, hey, we're Californians, we work-life balance is nice here, but it's not. How about Czech Republic? Do people have it, or they are more workaholics?
I would say we are on the more relaxed side of this spectrum. Definitely not Japan style or something, but also not that phlegmatic. I think the situation you explain when there is an issue on production or something, I really cannot imagine working in a team where people don't care and would say, it's 5 o'clock, let's go, let's go home. That's really strange. But being every day overtime, that's also not good and not happening.
Do you feel big competition here in your area, for instance?
Big competition?
Yeah, I mean, if you, for instance, you are a software developer, you want to, for Pipedrive is super nice, I believe, but just imagine you want to change a job, and you want to find another one. Is it hard for you to find a decent one, or I don't know, or HRs will be fighting over your resume, like, hey, we want this guy in our team? Or it depends on the qualification? Or
I think it's pretty simple to find IT job in Prague, and it's simple also to find a pretty well-paid IT job in Prague, which is sometimes bad because when I had that experience when we fired someone, and I was really feeling bad for the new company because there is so big demand, they are almost accepting everyone. On the other hand, it's good if you want to switch the job. I think the biggest problem is it's not the problem to find a new job, it's difficult to find a new job that you like or you would like to be part of it. You can do it just for money if it doesn't hurt your mental health, of course. But if you are looking for the quality and good team fit, culture, everything, that's difficult, and probably it should be difficult. That's life. It's like with girlfriends or something.
It's really hard to find someone who's like,
and it's worth to keep looking until the match is really good. But as I said, there is a lot of IT companies, a lot of startups, so the possibilities are kind of big in Prague. And it's a big city.
Do you know what is management poker?
No.
It's like you have a player if you have 2 meetings in a day, 3 if you have 3 meetings in a day, and Flash Royale when you have like your schedule is full of meetings without gaps.
And you want to achieve that?
No. We talked a little bit about conferences and meetups and other stuff. What do you think about the local market in Czech Republic? Are there a lot of meetups or and conferences?
Now it's different.
Now of course, but before that.
It used to be pretty good. I was attending the JavaScript meetups, and then a lot of companies tried to promote themselves with their own meetups. So sometimes it was like you could attend like 3 or 4 meetups per week, which I felt like I stopped I stopped going there because then the quality declines. Not
Yeah.
everyone has something interesting to talk about
Yeah.
or something I would be interested to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with the conferences, well, the Prague was not that big. On the other hand, I started to be interested only in like particular technology conferences that happened for example, in Paris. The React Europe was really good.
Yeah.
But others like GraphQL conferences that was in States, so I was already watching just online. So I think the Prague is really or was really really saturated with meetups.
Yeah.
But conferences, a couple of them happened, but it was not like every month some interesting conference in IT. Definitely not.
I think maybe it's not true, but from my perspective, is that European conferences, they are more focused on the networking, about the inspiration, about like, hey, this is the new technology, you should definitely check it. But they are not that deep into technology.
I would agree. But on the other hand, what's the point of having a really technical focused talk? Wouldn't it be better to have it as an article?
It's really good point, but I don't know why. For some people, it's harder to write a good big article than just prepare a talk, because it's different feelings, or it's more condensed or focused or something like this.
I really liked the AWS reInvent in Las Vegas, which was a huge conference, the biggest I ever was attending. It was like 50,000 people there, really huge. But there you had like all these levels. There were really simple, just like almost lightning or introduction into some technologies, and there were really focused, almost workshops.
Yeah.
And you could register. It was up to you.
Yeah.
Some of them were all fully booked before the conference started. But there you really could mix how you liked it.
Yeah.
But that was such a huge conference, so it's probably really hard to organize. But for me, I prefer these talks where I just hear about more like concepts, something new. For example, when the React was, or GraphQL when it was announced, it wasn't much technical. It was we have this problem and we are solving it this way. Yeah. And you immediately realize, wow, this is really revolutionary because it's wow. That's something I really love. Then I immediately start Googling, reading more about it. Yeah. Just watching something really technical, solving something specific, I kind of prefer to have it as an article. And keeping these conferences, what I really like about, or I used to like about conferences, was I, for example, could talk with GraphQL guys from Facebook, how they are not dealing with technical things, but how they are managing at that scale. For example, how do you merge schemas or something like that? And they tell, we don't do that. We generate the schema. Wow. And you don't have like specific article. It's like internal, not that internal like secret thing, but you probably, they didn't publish it much. So I prefer this networking, but not just like a small talk and drinking something on these parties, but having the possibility to meet with people I know about from Twitter, for example. I'm following them, and having some specific, more like not the general question, but something I'm fighting with, and it's not the technical. That's something I really like to do. I started on my university because I wanted to earn some money. I really liked building. I started with PHP, MySQL, old stuff, and I just liked to be able to deploy something. For example, the visitors counter. I had a page, and I really enjoyed just watching how the numbers are growing, and and reading the logs that someone from Australia visited my web. and I realized there is demand by others who cannot build it, which I thought everyone can build it, because I was kind of geeky teenager. And I realized someone is willing to pay me for building kind of simple guest book or another counter or something like that. And I realized I can very conveniently work from home whenever I want. If I don't want to, I have time. And it was really that way I started. I realized it's kind of probably the best if you can get money from something you like to do. So that's how I started, but it was kind of late, I would say, now when I see kids 14 and something. So I was, let's say, 20 when I started to work with.
And serious question. So, well, it's already not that serious.
I didn't do that.
So what do you think? Like, you have this point in the past, you have current situation, current moment, where it's going. I mean, software development in general, or maybe even web development. Will we have some AI who will write the code? Or because I don't know, a friend of mine, he has a little kid, not that little, like maybe 10 years old, and they already at school they already learn programming, some basics, but still. And maybe one day software development will become same as the like reading and writing. It would be almost the same, and everyone will know. So what do you think? Where it's going? Where it's moving?
I'm optimistic. I'm not like skeptical, but of course I don't know. But I try to look for some analogy, and what I would say, for example, like really back in the days, how was it, for example, to compose a music? Like in the past century, you really had to have live musicians and stuff like that. Later, you just could rent some studio, record something separately, mix it together. Now you can do everything in your bedroom on a notebook. But still, and you can have a lot of software, filters, everything to improve it and make it more simple. But I believe that still there is a lot of like talent and craftsmanship in the music or in the software development. To build the quality, you need to have the skills. So maybe the AI will help with first steps to prototype something, to just visualize some ideas, even for non-technical people. But then building it, scale it, everything, it will always need skilled people. Maybe it will filter out, as we spoke about, those not so skilled, not so motivated, but overpaid, because someone has to do it. We are in a need, we have some numbers we have to satisfy. But I believe if you are good in something or in software development, there is gonna always be a place for you.
And thank you very much, and see you guys. Can I say guys these days?
Oh, that's very gender specific.
Okay. See you fellow YouTubers in the next episode.
Bye, humans.